Samantha. So today I'm coming to you with a review, and today I will be reviewing The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. But before I get into the review, I'm just gonna make the disclaimer that I did actually receive a free e-copy of this book via netgalley.com in exchange for an honest review. Now, I didn't really know what to expect going into this book because I still haven't read Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, which I know everyone loves. So I didn't really know how I was going to feel about it, and I was hoping that I'd love it because I didn't want to be that person who has an unpopular opinion. And I really hope I like Simon because I still haven't read it, but I own it now. But I didn't have to be worried because I adored this book. It was freaking fantastic, and it was literally just what I needed. I was kind of feeling a bit slumpy again because I was in a reading slump from like November onwards, and I was feeling a little bit slumpy again, and I picked up this book and devoured it. It was so freaking good. So if you don't know what The Upside of Unrequited is about, it follows this girl called Molly Peskin-Souza who is 17 years old, and she has had 26 crushes on 26 different guys, but she's never been kissed by any of them. It's not that she's gone after them and then been rejected, it's just that she hasn't had the courage to go up to them and say, hey, I like you, which is fair enough. It's a difficult thing to do. It's even harder for Molly because she's a bit overweight and she feels like she has to be very careful around other people. Not only that, but she also suffers from anxiety, which makes it even harder in those sorts of social situations. And everything's fine until her twin sister Cassie starts dating her new girlfriend Mina, and that's when Molly really starts to think that she should probably have a boyfriend by this point in her life. Mina and Cassie try and set her up with Mina's friend Will so that they can all stay close together because Cassie and Molly spend all of their time together. You know, they are twins, you know, it's what they do. So they don't want to be separated by this new relationship that's going on. That would all be fine if there wasn't Reed to contend with. Reed is Molly's co-worker. Whilst Molly wants to fall for Will, she might not be able to do that. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling everything. I really hope I didn't spoil anything. Anyway, on to the review. I absolutely adored this book. I gave it 4.75 out of 5 stars. I would have given it the full 5 apart from there was a character that I disliked immensely, which I will get onto. But first of all, I'm going to talk about the plot. Now, what I loved about this book was that it was so realistic. So it follows a group of teenagers, pretty much, mostly teenagers. You do see a lot of the parents as well, but it follows the teenagers predominantly. I just felt like it was a really realistic book because the characters felt like real teenagers, unlike in some other books where you read the characters who are supposed to be 17 and you feel like they're, you know, 30 because they just don't feel like teenagers, whereas these ones did. They were sometimes catty, and you know, that happens, and they talked about sex and they drank alcohol and they snuck around. They felt like teenagers and they had real teenage problems like body confidence issues and, you know, suffering from extreme anxiety. I know that anxiety doesn't leave you alone as you get older, but it seems to be quite a big thing in teenagers, especially because obviously we have a lot of stress to go through in school and stuff like that. And I just feel like it was so realistic and well done, and also just so relatable because I feel like sometimes you have friends who they've gotten with people, they've had boyfriends, and you're the one there who's like, well, I haven't, so like what's wrong with me, you know, why not, that sort of thing. And I feel like this book kind of touched upon that idea, but it showed that, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just timing. There's just someone will come along. And in that way I felt like it was really uplifting and it was just wonderful, and I just don't even know how to explain how wonderful and truly amazing it was. In terms of the characters, I loved every single one of them apart from Cassie. I thought Cassie was extremely rude and obnoxious to her sister a lot of the time. But the way Cassie started acting was just really self-centered and, you know, just mean. But in all fairness, I do understand that teenagers, we can get that way sometimes. It does happen. So it was quite realistic to make Cassie a bit rude sometimes and, you know, choosing her girlfriend over her family. It happens. I really liked Molly as a character. I thought she was wonderful, and also you get to see this bit where she's like really strong, and I just loved it. I'm not gonna say what it is because it happens quite later on in the book, but it was this bit at a party. So if you've read it, you might know what I'm talking about. It was wonderful. I was like, yes. I also really loved Reed. I thought he was really sweet and funny and awkward, and you know, he's just kind of one of those characters who's like awkward and, you know, kind of a Simon Lewis sort of character, like a total nerd. You kind of love him. Another good point about the characters was that there was a lot of diversity within the characters. So Molly and Cassie were actually sperm donor babies who have 2 mothers, and the mothers are an interracial couple. And not only that, but they're also Jewish, so it was just like full of diversity. And then Cassie is a lesbian, and she starts dating this girl Mina who's pansexual and also Korean American. So it was just full of diversity, and also you saw some more gay characters later on. They were very minor characters, but still it was lovely to see that diversity within this book. The final thing I want to talk about is the writing. I love her writing style, apparently. It was really humorous, and she dealt with a lot of like heavy topics like anxiety and stuff, and like changing family dynamics and stuff like that, but she did it in a way that was just lighthearted and fluffy and just wonderful, and I adored this book. I just can't get it across enough. I loved it, and I flew through it. It's been a really long time since I've just sat down and finished a book in one day because of like school and everything. But I sat down and I couldn't stop reading this book. I wasn't planning on it. I was like, you know, I'll just read a few chapters, then I'll go do some homework or whatever. But no, I sat there and I read the whole thing. It's a really quick read. It took me about 4.5 hours, so a really quick read, but I just couldn't stop reading because it was just so fabulous. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling on about how wonderful I found this book. I'm gonna let you go out there and read it yourself if you haven't already. If you have, feel free to discuss it down in the comments below, but obviously I understand not many people may have because it came out only a few days ago. Thank you so much again to netgalley.com for giving me a free e-copy. I'm so happy that I got to read this book because I still hadn't read Simon, so I don't even know if I would have picked this up, but now I've got Simon ready to go. So that's going to be all for today's video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share your thoughts on the upside of Unrequited down below in the comments. I'd love to hear how you felt about it. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below, and I try and upload videos on Thursdays, so hopefully I'll see you next Thursday. Bye!